Norway! It is time to talk once again about Norway. Guys, you know that during this World Cup, you know I'm supporting Norway. You know I love all my Norwegian fans and I love Norway, guys. And before this tournament started, I made a video talking about how Norway are going to be the dark horses in the World Cup. I made a video talking about that. A lot of people disagreed with me. Some people agreed with me, but some people thought that no way, Norway are the dark horses. And then after some of the friendlies that we saw from Norway before the World Cup started, where results didn't look the best, they got a couple of draws, things weren't looking too good for some people. A lot of people were saying Norway aren't the dark horses anywhere. They're not going to do good in the World Cup. I'm telling you, this Norwegian team is absolutely insane, guys. We need to talk about this Norwegian team because I think Norway have been a very, very good team in this World Cup. And guys, for some reason, like I said, before the World Cup started, we saw them get a couple kind of meh results in friendlies. We saw them lose against Netherlands. We saw them get that draw against Switzerland and against Morocco. First of all, Switzerland are a fantastic team. Morocco are a fantastic team. And against Netherlands, guys, I don't know why people were so hung up on Norway not winning this game. They didn't even play their main starting 11. Okay, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, they didn't even have the big man Erling Haaland. But guys, so far in this World Cup, we saw them get a great win against Iraq, 4-1. Then we saw them get another win against Senegal, 3-2. We did see them lose against France, 4-1. But today we saw them beat Cote d'Ivoire, 2-1. Now, guys, the reason why I'm saying that Norway are still a very, very strong team in the World Cup. Some people may think that they haven't been playing the best. They haven't been that good. But that's part of the reason why I think Norway are still a really strong team. Because they haven't been playing the best. Honestly, they haven't. They can still perform better. And for them to still be getting the results that they're getting, for them to beat Senegal, for them to beat Cote d'Ivoire, which a lot of people after the group stages were saying are one of the biggest dark horses in the World Cup. I was saying it too. I think Ivory Coast are a very, very good team. And for Norway to still not be at their best and to beat a team like Cote d'Ivoire, to beat a team like Senegal, to get 4 goals against Iraq, it's very, very good. And I feel like a lot of people are still sleeping on Norway, guys. I want to mainly talk about this game because obviously this game did take place earlier today. Norway got the 2-1 win. We were live on stream. Very, very good stream today. Guys, Norway in this game, like I said, this is not the best Norway team. It was a pretty 50-50 game. Obviously, Norway had almost 2 expected goals, but 9 shots. Ivory Coast had 14. Ivory Coast should have scored probably 2 goals in this game. And from Ivory Coast's perspective, we saw the same thing happen against Germany. Where against Germany, they were arguably the better team. They had arguably a lot of good chances, but they just couldn't finish. And same with this game against Norway. They got punished for their lack of clinical finishing up capabilities. They had 14 total shots and they scored 1 goal. They realistically probably should have scored more. But with that being said, did Norway get lucky? You could say Norway got a little bit lucky, but what you can also say is that Norway still haven't hit their final form. Norway still is not at their best. Yes, they're performing pretty good, but they can do way better. They can do way better than this, guys. Obviously, Norway get the 2 goals. We need to talk about that goal from Antonio Nusa. And this is another thing that I'm saying with Norway, bro. I've said that Norway have one of the best attacks in the world. And I've always said a very important player for them is Antonio Nusa. At the start of the World Cup, I was saying if Nusa can have a good tournament, Norway can make it to at least the round of 16, maybe even the quarterfinals. And Nusa hasn't got going so far. In the group stages, honestly, he barely played against France, but against Senegal and against Iraq, he didn't do shit. But this is the Nusa we know. This is the Nusa that can be a difference maker. This is the Nusa that will take on the opposition one-on-one, cut inside, and a beautiful finesse shot to the top right corner, top bins. Oh my gosh, disgusting from Antonio Nusa. But guys, obviously Haaland got the second goal. And this is the thing with Norway, which a lot of people are underestimating. Everyone says they have an incredible attack, but that's all they have. Bro, have you not seen this Norwegian midfielder? This Norwegian midfield with Berg, and Odegaard. Guys, honestly, it's very confusing with the 2 Bergs. I call it Patrick and Sander. Patrick, Sander, and Odegaard is a fantastic midfield 3. Fantastic. Patrick in this game, bro, Patrick in this game was everywhere. For me, he was the man of the match. He was making things happen. Look at that pass accuracy, 91%. 2 big chances created, 7 defensive contributions. That is a perfect game for a midfielder that you want to help in the attack, but also that you want to help in the defense. Sander, we know he's a very good player as well. And Odegaard, guys, we've seen with Arsenal how good he is as well. For me, the biggest disappointing player was Sorloth. I don't think Sorloth was that good. But then you have a player like Oscar Bob. You have a player like Sheldrup. You have wingers off the bench that can influence a game. So in this game, although I did think Ivory Coast were pretty good and probably could have gotten a better result, Norway at the end of the day still get the result that they want. And that's a very big positive for Norway. If they don't play their best and they still get results, it's incredible. Now, guys, a lot of people are mentioning this France game. They lost 4-1. Guys, have you seen this lineup, bro? Have you seen this lineup? Sheldrup, Strand Larsen, who missed a penalty. Oscar Bob was probably one of the best players on the pitch. Osgard was good. Berg, this was a poor game from him. Thorsveld, this defense is a... Bro, this is a C team defense. You're playing Arsenis at the right back. Okay, you're playing Ostergaard. I remember this guy in Napoli. He's mid. He's mid at best. They're playing Selvik. Guys, I don't even think Nyland is the best goalkeeper. And here they're playing a B team goalkeeper. Bro, you cannot look at this game at all. This was a write-off game. This was a very smart game actually by Solbakken to rest his players. Maybe something that Nagelsmann from Germany should learn. But even if we look at the other games, this game against Senegal, they won 3-2. Once again, defensively, they may have had small issues, but they still get the result. And like I said, in this game, Nusa wasn't even there. Sorloth barely did anything. It was all Haaland that they won. So the thing with Norway, guys, is they have difference makers in their team. Everyone always talks about their attack. And yes, their attack is incredible. Haaland, Sorloth, Strand Larsen, Peter Haug, who you never even really see. Sheldrup, very good young player. Antonio Nusa, like I said, if he gets going, which he did in today's game, he can definitely be a big help for this Norwegian team. Oscar Bob, we know the creativity he brings when he comes off the bench, and he brought that in today's game against Ivory Coast. But guys, we have to also look at their midfield, bro. They have such a incredible midfield that I feel like a lot of people don't really recognize. Taylor Asgard is one of the most underrated young midfielders in the world. This guy is so underrated. Patrick and Sander, we know about them. They're very, very good, almost like box-to-box players. Martin Odegaard, we know he's very good in that attacking midfield position. Obviously, you know, Arsenis is also a very underrated player for Benfica, 30 years old, but he can still do a job. So I feel like this Norwegian team is much better than some people think. Now, Julian Ryerson missed this game due to injury. He needs to come back for the next game against Brazil. He needs to come back. If Julian Ryerson is not there, that back line is definitely weaker. He's a very, very important person for this Norwegian team. Both him and also Wolfe. The way that they put in crosses, the way that they can take set pieces, especially Julian Ryerson, the way he takes corner kicks. He's a very, very crucial player for Norway. And I do think if he's back against Brazil, Norway have a very fair chance to win. If he's not, it will be much harder. But guys, we cannot underrate this Norwegian team. And I just had to make this video because I feel like a lot of people recently have been kind of underestimated Norway again. I feel like after they beat Italy in the qualifiers, everyone was saying Norway dark horses. Then in the friendlies before the tournament, people were saying they may not be as good as we think. I'm here to tell you that this Norwegian team can beat Brazil. Will they beat Brazil? It's going to be very, very tough, guys. We're going to do a little preview into this game. Norway versus Brazil is obviously the round of 16 game. Crazy game from both of these teams. They both already had to verse Japan and Ivory Coast respectively, and now they have to verse each other, which is crazy. But both of these teams, I feel like, are teams who haven't hit their maximum potential yet. Obviously, we saw Brazil get that 3-2 win against Japan. We saw Brazil score multiple goals in the group stage. We saw them draw against Morocco. This Brazilian team has a very, very good attack. Very, very good. Vinicius Jr. has been incredible. Cunha has been incredible. Endrick has been decent. But where Norway, in my opinion, can punish this Brazilian team is with Brazil's fullbacks, because that's a place that I think Brazil are lacking. Obviously, where Norway are lacking, in my opinion, is their central defenders. I think that, you know, Hagem, Ayer, they're not too bad, but that's probably the weakest part of their pitch. If you look at Brazil's weakest part of their pitch, of their team, is definitely the fullbacks. So that's why I'm saying if Julian Ryerson is back for this game, it would be a big, big advantage for Norway. You need to see a lot from Wolf. You need to see a lot on the wings. And that's why I've also said a player like Oscar Bob and Antonio Nusa, if he gets going now, if he can score another goal like he did against Ivory Coast, Norway can beat Brazil. Will it be tough? It'll be very tough. Obviously, Brazil still have not lost a game in this World Cup, and they're coming off the back of 3 wins. And in those 3 wins, they were very, very good on the attack. But like I said, if Norway can counter Brazil, if Norway can hurt Brazil in those wide positions, get the ball from the wide positions to the center, like we saw Patrick do today when he got that great cross across the middle to Haaland, who was pretty much wide open. He almost fumbled the goal, but he did get the goal. If Norway can do that against Brazil, Norway can win. Earlier predictions for this game, I think both teams will score. I think it might possibly end in a 2-2 draw, and I think there's a very high chance that this game goes to penalties. But with that being said, as you guys know, after Norway beat Italy in the qualifiers, I told you guys I'm supporting Norway. But guys, let me know what you guys think of this Norwegian team. Today in the stream, a lot of people were predicting that Ivory Coast may be able to upset them. I personally always thought Norway was going to win. I predicted 3-2. It ended 2-1. Were they the best? No, they can definitely be better, but that's why they're scary. Because if you look at a team that's been winning almost every single game, and you know that they can still perform better than that, if they get to that top tier level, which I think they can do under Solbakken with the way he chooses his lineup, the way he decides to rest players in certain different situations, I think they can still hit another level, and I think they will be a very, very tough opponent for Brazil. But guys, let me know, how far do you think Norway can make it in the 2026 World Cup? As always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.